The part that amazes me is the government. When the government admits it, you know, it's like holy shit, because we've not known about aliens forever, and whether you believe or not, that's up to the individual. But you go back to, have you ever seen the Renaissance paintings? And it's just this one painting, and it's a mother. She's looking down at her two kids. Above her, in the background, in the sky, is a UFO. Like, there are Renaissance paintings that depict UFO activity.
I'm looking up Renaissance painting woman alien.
I looked it up, going painting with UFO.
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing is, and this is incredible to me because there's a lot of that in art. There's a lot of that in art. And one of the theories is that if God was a person, and this is kind of Prometheus, the movie Prometheus kind of did a spinoff on this idea that God was an alien.
Yeah.
Right? You people are talking about all these things, or even if you look at the ancient like etches and paintings, like I'm talking about like hieroglyphic time in Egypt and shit.
I was gonna say Egyptian.
It always shows this thing, and then you think about some of the things that they did, and these are still things that we don't know. Back in the day, the pyramids, the way that they were built, some of these grand structures, the way they were built, we still can't replicate with machine. The flat edges that are getting carved out of stone, out of caves, out of mountains, we can't do that now.
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling me that these people just did it, it was just a lot of willpower and just a lot of hard work and hours. It's like, no, and they showed that. And if you don't have language or whatever, the only way that you can even, I'm looking at the picture right now, by the way, it's pretty crazy. The only way that you can try to tell someone what happened would be to draw a picture. Like, yeah. Unless they just made all that up. But again, it's like that. I mean, I love the movie Prometheus. I think it's fantastic, but I think it's fantastic because they kind of, it plays on that whole idea that God was an alien, and there's all these cave drawings in different parts of the earth, when back then it would be impossible for them to ever communicate. You couldn't get there, right? Like you couldn't travel that far back then. So that, you know, all these cave paintings and over here and over here and over here, they're all pointing to something in the sky. And all these paintings like this, dude, there's a lot more, man. In one of my art history classes, because I'm the way I am, I remember talking to my professor about this, and she opened up fucking Pandora's box on all these different drawings and stuff that if you could just Google right now, it's like, it's insane. And some of it is very descriptive.
And we're talking about civilizations that, why would you draw that? Like, what is that painting there?
Exactly.
Like, what is that little chiseled on the wall? Yeah. You wouldn't have that concept unless you didn't see it or knew about it. So, like,
unless it was me back then, where I'm like, I'm gonna prank the rest of the fucking world forever. I'm
just
back there like, wait till they see this.
Yeah, how about this thing in the sky with lights,
like, yo, Paul, this is what you're going to do, bro. You're going to spend the next 20 years of your life walking this way. And as soon as 20 years happens, you get there, you're going to make the same fucking drawing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, so the level, and again, I'm not from that civilization, that era, that society, but you're just discovering the Bronze Era. Like, you're just finding out functions for metal. You're gonna understand and comprehend a picture of a UFO.
There's a million of these now too, bro. This is crazy. If you just Google like Renaissance painting alien, I have now gone down the rabbit hole of all this craziness.
Dove right in it.
Yeah, which is insane. It's insane. And that's an actual theory though, is that God, or any of the gods that any of the religions talk about, how else would you describe that back then? And then play the game of telephone, right? Because like the Bible and all that shit was written fucking forever ago, and we keep trying to create this best adaptation or best translations or whatever of these stories. And if you can believe in God and you don't believe in aliens, that's kind of insane to me, that you would believe that a person, or I can't say a person, right, but a God has all these powers and stuff. And it kind of makes sense that if someone came down from the sky in a ship that I had no idea was, and they walked down and they were able to do things that I have never seen before and they looked a certain way, I would also think back then that that was a god. There's no other way to just, what's the difference?
Yeah. A chariot or a spaceship.
What's the difference? That came, the sky opens up and there's this craft that comes down. And at this point, if that's what happened, you have to understand that there's people that are watching this that never saw a car. They never saw a bike. And they're seeing some, how do you explain that? There's a really good, GSP talks about this, the fighter, George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
It's one of the, and he believes in aliens. And this is one of the best analogies and stories I've ever heard on what it might be like for people to try to talk about this. Take the ocean as an example. Take a fish. Now, I don't mean any fish that can jump out of the water. That's a special case. Any fish that cannot jump out of the water.
Okay.
So the fish is swimming in this ocean and looks up and sees the top of the ocean. Now, to the fish, that looks like an infinite galaxy to them. It looks like it goes on forever. The fish doesn't know that right at the top of that, they can literally go through and there's a whole different world there. A fish gets caught by a fisherman. Fisherman pulls the fish out. Fish is too small. The fisherman's looking at the fish and talks to his buddies. And is this too small? It's right on the border. Should we throw it back? Should we keep it? So the fish now is outside of water. The fish sees trees, people, is breathing air that it can't breathe. There's no more water. Sees the sun, sees birds, sees a dog, sees grass. Fisherman says, nope, throws it right back in the water. That fish now has to use its fish language to explain to its fish buddies what the fuck just happened to it.
Just as soon as it hits the water, just stops for a second.
Like,
what the fuck was that?
This alien pulled me out of the water. And there was no water. It was like this air thing that you wouldn't have a word for. And you'd have to explain to people. Now, the fish that can jump out of the water might be people that have been abducted or say they were abducted or say that they've heard something. They're on a different level. They can transcend that plane. But sometimes to me, when I think about that analogy, I think that that's what space is to us.
I love that analogy though, by the way.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because when we look up, we see a sheet of infinite, you just continue to look up, but maybe we just can't comprehend it. Maybe we don't understand it. Like a fish would look at the top and think, oh my God, that goes on forever. No, it doesn't. Right there. And you're there. You're this close. Some fish will come this close, but never get there. They can feel it. Nope, you can't do it. And space to us feels that way. We have any fucking idea what space really is. Like we have a fucking understanding. Like the fact that we're not paranoid all day long, that we're on a spinning rock that's just moving at, we don't like to think about that, right? We like to think closer.
Yeah.
Because it's a little scary to think that we're on a fucking rock that's just spinning through space. But right on the other side of that sheet of what looks like infinite might be something else that we just can't see because we can't comprehend it, because we're not all that fucking powerful. We're just an animal like every other animal is.
Going back to like what you said, why would we be invaded? Because we're cavemen. Yeah. We are still in the caveman era of us. If there are aliens, they're able to fly around the universe and cut through space and all that other stuff.
And the crazy part of that analogy,
we're eating Tide Pods.
yeah, exactly. We're taking shots of vodka up our butts. Like that's what's happening. Yeah, I'd be like, nah, you know what? Let them be. But the crazy part about that analogy is, I think when GSP first talked about that, he was talking about how crazy someone would sound if they had an experience with aliens. That when that fish comes back down, the person would sound insane. And that's exactly how we treat people that say that they've been abducted. Yeah. We're like, you're insane. And if you have to watch that episode of Unsolved Mysteries, because essentially they all say that. They're all like, are we really going to talk about this? Because I hate talking about this, because everyone looks at me like I'm fucking crazy. But do you want to know the truth? Is that what we're here to do? Yeah. Are you doing this documentary for the truth? Because I don't want to talk about this, because it makes me feel crazy. You know, one of the guys, I feel so bad for him I'm not going to ruin the episode because the episode's amazing, but one of the things he ends up saying is like, dude, I live here. My wife is like the librarian in this town. My kids go to the school that I went to. I can't talk about this. I got a family to protect. Everyone already thinks I'm the crazy alien guy. But guys, I got fucking abducted. And he talks about that, and you're listening, and you're like, you want to believe him so bad, man. You want to believe everyone in that. And the thing is, maybe they have us. Maybe they have all lied and built this crazy lie and did it very well. And the documentary, maybe he's in on it. And that's a possibility, right? Like, I'm not going to say it's not, but fuck, I don't know, man. You got to watch that episode and all these other things. It's everything in once. It's not just this one documentary, this one episode, or this one story. It's them coming out and saying it. It's just all these things. It's like, people aren't talking about this.
If you take into everything that we just said from the beginning of this, from documentaries to paintings during the Renaissance era to Egyptian hieroglyphics to all of that, that's a hell of a worldwide conspiracy from the beginning of time to now put these little things out there. Even when I don't know if they still have it. Do they still have like the NASA channel?
I don't know. Maybe.
They had the NASA channel. Hey, have you ever seen it?
Yeah.
So a lot of the problems were when a perfectly good feed would all of a sudden get cut off because they have somebody on standby that would cut the feed.
Oh, like if something
would come back, if something would be in the background, and if something were to be in the background, they can't explain.
They got a guy that's like, nope.
Times the feed would just get cut, and it would be like, boop, NASA is experiencing technical difficulties, but every time you would see a glimpse of something coming, and on something, boop, no, technical difficulties. Sorry.
Yeah, it's crazy. The amount of it's insane, and then the fact that they can come out and be like, yeah, they're not saying what they have, but the government has issued a statement saying that there is evidence of UFOs or that we have parts of alien technology or whatever the case is. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, the thing to me that's crazy is that it's like people don't want to know more. Like, I'm waiting to, I don't know. It's insane to me because like, I wish I knew someone that was, if I had any friends in the government or like anything that I wish I knew these, I'd be talking to these people all day long. What did you see? What did it look like? What does it explain? Draw it to me. Yeah. Just because, the thing that got me hooked on it was that guy who was just saying like, no, if we really opened up what we have access to and really got our best minds on it and really just blew the lid open on all this stuff and gave all the information out, we could potentially have life and world changing technologies at our fingertips that would benefit everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Oh, forget about it.
Everyone. Could you imagine just best case scenario? In the world, best case scenario is that the planet is self-sufficient and no one has to work. Just imagine that everything was self-sufficient. The gas that you put in your car, war could be a hobby. You don't have to work. It's not the end of all. It's you're fed. Everyone's fed, and the planet is healthy and all that. What the fuck would we do?
Straight utopia.
Yeah, what would we do?
We probably would fast forward the destruction of ourselves because we have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And us still being a warlike people.
We're not ready for it.
We fuck it up.
Exactly. And that's exactly why I think we won't ever get there, because if we wanted to, you know what I'm saying? You have to look at us like, and that's embarrassing. Everyone likes to think about the political view that they have or the neighborhood that they live in or the job they have and think about how it stacks up to people who are beneath them or whatever the fuck, right? That makes you feel better. And you really think about it. Like, if you're listening to this and you think that we're a bunch of crazy people and that aliens don't exist, that's fine. Hypothetical situation. They do exist, hypothetically. If they came down here, wow, we would be very sad. Like, what a disappointment. Could you imagine? Like, this is what you have. It's like if you live in like a ghetto and someone that lives in a nice neighborhood that's in your family comes to visit, and you have to be like, yeah, this is where I live. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah.
Like on a global level, you have to be like, yeah, you know what? The States is probably one of the best places you can go, but
we didn't know you were coming to visit Earth. Can you give us a couple thousand years to fix some things up?
How embarrassing, man. How embarrassing.
Yeah.
I'd be like, beam me out, get me off of this fucking ride.
I'd be like, listen, man, I've done a few years here. Can I see what the other side's
Yeah,
like?
I'm
Let's
ready
hang
to,
out.
yeah, let me upgrade. Let me level up here, because you know what?
Because people, because I think the whole show of full circles. Because at the end of the day, man, groups of people, individuals, like people ain't shit.
Yeah.
And we just continue to prove it. That's why I hate people. I'd rather let me live in an island with puppies and I'll be happy.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying.
I think you'll appreciate this, this being the topic and you being a comic book geek. So, like myself. So, remember the what ifs from Marvel?
Oh, yeah.
DC, I don't know if they had their own version of it or it was just a one-off. We'll say it was a one-shot. So they had something called the Red. I forgot what it was called. But the premise was what happens if if Superman left Krypton as a baby X amount of hours later because Earth is rotating and all that. So he doesn't land in...
Oh, he doesn't land where Smallville. Wherever
he doesn't land in Smallville.
Yeah.
Because it was a few hours later, the Earth rotated. He landed in Russia. And became the Red something.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just... It's a great comic. They have the Russian version of Batman. Like they have... It's crazy. Like you should definitely check it out. But to bring it back to the point here, just as you just never know, it's an ill thing that I saw. Like I read the last page and I was like, oh shit, that's a crazy concept. So what happened was Lex Luthor's taken over America because he doesn't have a Superman there.
Yeah,
so he's like
just
the president.
Shit. He's fine, yeah.
But while he does it, America's in the shitter. Like it's the worst country ever. Like it's like fourth world. If there was a fifth world, it'd be fifth world. So very long story short, he gets them out of, like he ends up being a savior. Lex Luthor ends up bringing it from the fifth world to the top of the heap and being what America is and all this other stuff. They find technological, medical, all kind of things to elevate themselves as a species. Fast forward, Earth starts to mess up, whatever, starts to break down. So they start traveling different planets. They get time travel and they're inhabiting different planets, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward near the end of the comic, and that their home planet, wherever they made home, is about to blow up. And Lex Luthor's great relative is now like that role. And he's like, and he has a baby. He goes, man, we have to send this baby back in time to help save the world. That whole situation ended up with that baby was Superman. They sent him back.
Like it was going to happen anyway.
It was just a continuous loop. And it went back in the time, and it was Lex Luthor as not that, but that it was sick. Like you have to read it. Yeah. So aliens could be descendants from an advanced human race. Like that's what I like. That's why I'm like putting it together. Because you're like, oh my God, are aliens like the 50,000th generation of Lex Luthor? Like, are we all part of that? And there's just that cycle of it. So that when you get a chance, read it. Like it was.
I like anything with time travel in it too, just because anything that fantasy for me, the stuff that I like is stuff that like would honestly just change everything, right? Like I think, and that's one of those. It sucks too. Joe Rogan says it all the time. I hate believing in something that I want to believe in, because it kind of puts you off to a bias a little bit. Like I definitely. Do I believe that there's aliens out there? Yes, just because I'm using my brain. Do I believe that they have some sort of technology that can alter everything and make everything better? Yeah, I'm going to believe that because I want to believe that one. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I believe that the Sandy Hook shooting was a conspiracy? I believe that because I want to believe that. I want to believe that. I'd rather believe right now that that we wanted to do something on the gun control. So all those kids and their families are in an island right now, because if you saw any single one of them right now, you wouldn't know who they were. They didn't really cover it too much on the media, right? You wouldn't know who they out in fucking wherever living the time of their lives. I'd rather believe that than that some psychopath shot up a school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes it sucks because
I like that quote. I never heard Rogan say that.
Yeah.
And I'm a Rogan fan. I've never heard him say that though.
Yeah, he says it all the time. It sucks when you believe in something that you want to believe in, because you're always going to have that bias. But to me, it's like I like to watch the time travel stuff, and I like to watch the alien stuff, and I like to do some research, or my senses go off when someone starts talking about it, because damn, that'd be really cool. Everyone's focused on all this stuff, and I literally, you watch that documentary, I can't recommend it enough. And that main guy is just saying like, no, we have the ability, or at least the potential, with some of the things that we've found, to really, really change what we believed was possible, and things that we have just settled with. Like, we have settled with the fact that there are people that live in poverty. We've settled with that. There's not like an active thing going on to really try to fix that. Our cars still run off of gasoline.
Yeah.
Right. That's a limited resource that we still use all the time. There's still a lot of things that could be fixed that we don't really think about, because we're so in this. We'd rather see what the Kardashians are doing. And you know what I'm saying? I saw a headline that was like, Kim Kardashian retires. Like, was she working?
Yeah, what is she retiring from?
What is she retiring from? And then it was like, oh, the show got canceled or whatever the fuck. But the people are more like, how are you thinking about that? And you're not thinking that, like, what the fuck? That like in a basement somewhere in like the fucking CIA is like part of a fucking alien spacecraft. How are you not thinking about that all the time?
That's
it's crazy to me. Honestly, I would say at least once a day this pops into my head, at least, and I'm like, damn, like, what the fuck? And I'm just like, it would be cool in my lifetime if we got more information.
I would like to.
Yeah, it would be. You wouldn't. You would. That's what I'm saying. Even just that part would be sick. It would be really cool to be like, damn, like that. I just want to know more about what we don't understand.
Before my timeline ends, space more so than the ocean. But if we could like really go into the ocean, and I can somewhere in my life, I could be like, oh man, we hit that. Like, we know everything. Like the rainforest, the Amazon. There's 80% of the Amazon hasn't been even observed yet. Like, it's just so thick.
How much of the ocean has it? It's insane.
So space more so than anyone, but the ocean. Like, imagine they pull back the Amazon and some lost alien civilization just hanging out. Like, yo, we never knew about it, man. We've been it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm interested in it for sure, and I'm glad. Like, the thing is like too is, I want to talk, and I don't want to say like-minded people, but I want to talk about this with, I would say like-minded in the sense of enjoying good dialogue and not being afraid to be wrong. Because then you start talking about people with this, or you start talking about this with people, and then they're like, yeah, they're probably out there, but like, what are we doing for dinner tonight? It's like, what the fuck?
I don't mind. You see, I don't even mind having a conversation with a not like-minded person. You can differ from my opinion. Just respect my opinion. I'll respect yours, and let's try to figure this out. I don't have life figured out. Let's have a decent back and forth. I can't. There's too much of this.
Yeah,
like it's too much of that. I would rather have a talk.
Yeah.
And at the end of that discussion, either way, we both respect each other's opinion. Maybe I say something to change your mind. Maybe you say something to change your mind. But we said it, and we can move on. And we've technically, even if we don't agree, we technically have gotten, even if it's this much, got a little bit better, smarter from that conversation.
Yeah, when I say like-minded, though, I think you're spot on. I think I want to mean more like-minded with like the pursuit of knowledge or information, that like-minded in that sense, not the same opinion. Actually, I think the same opinion. Yeah, I think the same opinion sometimes that hurts it. I think it's good to have conversations with people that have different opinions, but are still share the same characteristic of just wanting to kind of get to the bottom of it, or like working as a team on opposing sides. Because if you have someone here that thinks that aliens are 1,000% are here, and you have someone here that thinks that they've never existed. Those two people talk. Somewhere here is the truth. That's always the case.
Always.
It's somewhere here. You need both of those people to do that, but they have to be at least on board with being open-minded and trying to find not the solution, but getting closer to it anyway. And I don't think there's enough of that. And that's why I wish that more people would watch this documentary, because somewhere out there is someone knows the missing part to this guy's question. And will he or she ever watch the documentary? Will they ever link up? You know what I'm saying? You want to get all the people that have, like, I want to just get everyone that's like could pass a lie detector test on knowing something or experiencing something to all sit at a round table. And I would love to be a fly on the wall for that conversation, because what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think it's crazy that people don't think about this all the time. And then people think it's crazy that I think about it all the time. But it's just like...
But I see what you're saying now when you say like-minded people. Now, I see what you're saying now. Like, just somebody that can hold their own in the conversation. And again, I don't put any stock in my intelligence. I think I'm an intelligent person. I know I don't know shit. That's usually a good first step.
Yeah, that's half of it, man. That's most of it, to be honest. That's most of it. Fuck.
But it's good to have a conversation, because I would love to have political conversations. I would like to have an episode that we could talk politics. You can't do it. Like I've tried. I've stopped talking politics, dude. I can't. Like when the first election with Trump, and he was trying to get elected the first time, and I was so heavy into politics. Even his first 100 days, first 200 days, I was in it. But then you just see the worst of people in it, and then you realize you can't have that conversation with everybody. Not only can you not have that conversation with everybody, you can't have that conversation with the majority.
Yeah, and it's so crazy that, like, I'm the worst person to have a talk with political stuff, only because I'm politically an idiot. Like, I don't know. That whole game is so detached from what I think it should be. And if you watch, I mean, it's like watching two people argue about whose team is better.
I always equate it to that.
It's insane. You got two guys at a bar that are ready to fist fight which New York team is better, the Jets or the Giants. It's like both teams don't even know you fucking exist. And you're just saying things that someone else told you, and it doesn't really matter. So like I don't vote. And a lot of that drives a lot of people crazy when I say that. And like, well, you're an educated person. You should be voting. You have the ability to vote. You can make a change. I don't like the game that they're playing. So why am I going to take part in that game at all?
So I agree with you. And I'm really not one to vote. I think I voted one time ever. And that was for Bush's second term. Like, I wanted him out. And everybody was like, Puff Diddy. Diddy was like, rock the vote. And everybody.
Everyone got out.
And it meant nothing.
MTV was like, yeah.
It meant nothing.
Exactly.
For every Democrat, and I don't consider myself Democrat or Republican. I can find pros and cons into everybody's.
But that's how it fucking should be, man.
I always equate it to this. And I don't want to go too much into it, because, we're just kind of going all over the place. I don't going into that.
No, yeah, that's a different episode. That's a different episode. Yeah,
yeah, definitely a different episode. But I will just say this: I always equated Republicans and Democrats to an NFL team, offense, defense. At the end of the day, yeah, one side could be great, but if the other side sucks, you're not going to win. Last time I checked, this is a team.
Yeah,
we need to get these. Who cares about left and right when the team is what matters? And we lost sight of that. We lost sight of so many things. I don't go into politics anymore. Like I have taken a step. Like I would have to refreshen myself up to current events to have a political conversation, because I just jumped out of it. It got me sick.
It's the labeling too. It's like just one of those things, right? Where it's like, yeah, you can vote for Trump and not be racist. Like, the two don't equate. People have done that, right? There's not everyone that voted for Trump is there, and I'm not Trump. I'm not at anything. So I'm a Dan supporter.
Yeah,
I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a I couldn't even tell you when the fucking elections come out. I really am an idiot with that shit, because I just don't like the game. The game wasn't designed for us to win. The game was designed for them to win. And we're taking part of it like we have any sort of power. We really don't. And the more that people buy into that shit and the more that people take part in the game, the whole thing has to be changed, right? It's going to take something much bigger than a vote.
I agree. And then even the voting system itself is just flawed.
That's what I'm saying. The whole thing is it doesn't make any sense to me. So I refuse to take part in it. But I think the one thing that you said is spot on, man. I was watching something or I overheard a conversation and someone was talking about guns. And the person was like, well, I don't have any guns. And the person was like, oh, but you're not a conservative or liberal or whatever. I don't even know the term that he used to categorize this one person's one thing about their life. All of a sudden they were put into this bucket of I know all of the rest of your opinions now because you don't like guns. Like, no, motherfucker, I'm allowed to have an opinion on guns, and that could be completely independent of my political fucking views.
Yeah.
But that's how people are now. It's like, oh, you have this opinion, you are this category, and you're in this bucket, and I'm not, and we are going to argue. It's like, no, man, just and that to me is just like, I think it's so funny that when people do that. I think it's so funny.
It goes back to the groups versus individual thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about you as an individual. As an individual, your opinion about gun control is this. Your opinion about something else could be on the left side or the right side. But no, because you said this thing about guns,
I put you in a category and you are in there. Yeah. It's really bad. It's really bad. Like where's my lighter? I am.
Nice.
Dude, it's like I have plenty of friends that are bisexual, gay, lesbian, whatever they, and I don't even like labeling them because you want to have sex with the refrigerator. By all means, live your life, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But like, dude, I have this. My dog's leash is rainbow colored. Right? I'm straight as could be, but but then people be like, oh, he's liberal. No, I just don't hate gay people. What the fuck?
There's a lot of things I'm just so indifferent about. I don't, like you said, you want to fuck a fridge?
Yeah.
By all means, man, wear protection, I guess, so you don't get rusted.
Don't cheat on your fridge, bro. Be better than that.
So it's again, going into the whole lumping people in a box, and it's just people. I've grown weary of people.
I think this whole episode we wanted to talk about aliens, and I think the bigger picture is the misuse of information. I think what we really talked about this entire time was the misuse of information and how people should really be searching for like the truth, and that could be anything.
Seems to be the common denominator.
Yeah, it could be with politics, it could be with aliens, it could be with anything. It could be with anything. And I think the big takeaway from, because you're going to have to put all these bullet points on like what the episode actually covered. I honestly think it was just really like, and distractions from being fed the information versus just receiving the information. There's a big difference. And right now I'm receiving the information. And the big thing that I just wanted to talk, because everywhere I look, I feel like, damn, I'm seeing a lot of mention of aliens and a lot of people talking about aliens. These guys are saying the same thing. And then this thing comes out and all these smart people are saying all this shit. And it's like, yo, why isn't this on? This should be everywhere. Why isn't this the thing being broadcast?
But it all goes back to agendas.
Yeah. Misuse of information, whether it's the misuse of me receiving information or the misuse of information being put out there. And that happens it's happening everywhere. It's happening everywhere.
Yeah. Damn.
And fucking aliens, dude.
Fucking aliens. Wow. Dude, we covered a lot, man.
Yeah, dude, this is fun. Dude, I'm coming on here whenever the fuck you want me on here, bro. This is fun.
I was gonna ask, man. Like,
this is fun, man. Yeah, I like this because we could talk about anything and everything, and I'm glad we found something that there was a common denominator, so it could fit into an episode.
I want to talk as many different things that I know I can talk about. So one episode might appeal to somebody, in the next episode they'd be like, oh, you guys are talking comic book shit, like, I get the fight. So yeah. Bro, please, if you come across a topic that you want to discuss, bring it over
I'm
here.
down,
If
dude.
I
I'll
find
get real
something,
creative, man. I'll start thinking about all sorts of shit. It'll be fun, and I would like to have things like lighthearted, but also some of the important stuff. I think today, we can have an episode on let's say Marvel or whatever the fuck, and it'll be hysterical. And I think there was gems in this one, but I also think that like there's a way to talk about the serious shit and not make it serious, right? Like I think we kind of did that today.
there's a balance. No, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm on the same boat as you. I want to keep it lighthearted, but have a fair balance. So, dude, whether it's lighthearted, whether it's something deep and serious, please come back, man.
This is fun, man. Again. Yeah, hell yeah, this is fun. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, thank you for showing up, man. I appreciate it. Long time coming, and thank you very much. So, I guess we'll do the outro now. I want to thank Ben Affleck's stunt double for coming by.
Where is she?
Nah, Dan, I love you to death, man. Thank you for coming by. It's good to see you. I haven't physically seen you in a while. I love the Zoom technology, so it's making it very cool. So, dude, I love you to death, man. I appreciate you coming by.
Hell yeah, man. It's mutual, man. The love goes both ways, and I wouldn't have done this. I don't like people either, bro. I would not have done this if I wasn't excited on doing it. So I appreciate the patience while the last couple weeks have been fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we still got a life to live. We still have a pandemic to navigate through.
I got aliens
like
to sight, bro. I'm out here with my binoculars. Bro.
Yeah, we gotta try to find the aliens. It's tough, but we made it happen, dude. So, dude, man, thank you, man.
Hell yeah, man. I'll be back, man. I appreciate it, man.
I'm gonna hold you to that because I want you back, bro. All right, man. So for Dan the Man, I am Paul. Well, thanking everybody for hanging out with us, talking aliens and a whole other stuff that was in there. I have no idea how long we went. I'll probably have to break this up, but again, appreciate you guys for hanging out, listening. Dan, appreciate you for hanging out. We'll do it again. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
And everybody have a good one, man. Take it easy. Peace.